What's up guys, it's your boy Caleb Talks and welcome back to another video. And today we are in the final stage of milking the Pokemon Cypher for views. So first we started off with making the Cypherverse, then we reacted to Shofu reacting to our Cypherverse, and then third, we reacted to the actual Cypher, and now it's time for the final stage where we're going to be making a Pokemon Cypher 2024 tier list. That's right, we're going to be ranking all the verses to see what's up. And of course, with this ranking, we're going to be taking everything into account. We're going to be taking the bars, the quality of the bars. We're going to be looking at delivery. We're going to be looking at flow. We're going to be looking at, is this verse iconic? Those are all things we're going to be considering. And really, there's not much to talk about. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright guys, so as you can see, we've got the tier list right here, and we've got all the tiers. We've got the, the best, iconic, great verse. It was cool and kind of mid, and so those are going to be the general tiers. There isn't that much room for like the negative rankings because, let's be honest, all of these verses were pretty good and better than I could do, even though I did cook in my little audition. You can check that in the link in bio, but not link in bio, link in description. I forgot I'm like not on Instagram. But we've got the tiers here. We've got the freaking we got the Genius page here. We'll be referring to that whenever we need to. So we'll just get right into the rankings. We're gonna rank them in like the order that they went. So we start off with GE here. And I thought GE's verse was fantastic. I thought it was definitely an iconic tier. It was a great start. He came in with the energy. It's probably one of the best GE verses I've heard in a Cypher, to be honest. Because his other ones have been solid, but they haven't really been like, they haven't really been a step above. And I think this one really was iconic. I mean, it was quick, but he had some really good bars. I don't get spoilers, Shin Can Leak, Long Range Short Vexile, Henry Green Beans. That was a really good one. Stuff will go down when the arms bear. Like, come on, these are great bars. And then the Heracross bar was fantastic. This Paldean Tauros bar was also pretty good. Yeah, all great bars. And his flow was really good. This is definitely an iconic tier. All right, so we move on to Jay Witz, and this may be a hot take, but I think Jay Witz's verse was unfortunately the worst verse of the Cypher. And I mean, that's crazy because Jay Witz usually has like such baller verses. Like in the Smash Cypher, his verse was iconic and insane. In the last Pokemon Cypher, his verse was really good. But I just didn't really feel like, if we look at his verse here, he's not really saying anything crazy in this verse. You know what I'm saying? We don't need a symbol game with Fisticuffs, just hitting stuff, it's enough. Like, we get that. We get like the freaking Timber, the Urshifu bar, it's there, it's okay, but it's nothing crazy. There's no like real bars in this verse, and it was actually really disappointing. So I was really excited for Jay Witz's verse. I feel like he's an integral part of the Cypher, and so for him to not drop something crazy was unfortunate. But yeah, that's my opinion. And then third is Shofu the Beatdown, which I will definitely put probably bottom of iconic tier. I thought this verse was fantastic. I thought that, Shofu the Beatdown, he's going to deliver his verse in a way that's just going to be iconic. Like, there's no way he can make a verse that's not iconic in some way. And he came in with the, I guess cadence that he usually comes in with, but then he also had some real bars in there. Like, Call it Ghost in Advance Irene targets. Like, that's a fantastic bar. Love that. They know I'm a G the way I sock and throw, and then the freaking fist to his head, I'll terrestrialize him. Like, and no squares in my aura sphere as well. Great bars. I'm definitely gonna put him in iconic tier. Alright, and that wraps up the fighting types, so we're moving on to the ghost types now. I'm gonna take a look at the first one, which was, I believe it was Shofu and Kez's verse, which Shofu had like another verse at the end, so I guess I'm just gonna be ranking all of his verses, but I mean, all of his verses were great. Like, he had, we'll start with the ghost since we're there. We'll come back to his last verse. But yeah, Shofu, like, this ain't no air balloon, which I will gladly pop. Fantastic bar. And there's just so many. There's just so many great bars. I like the Koraidon bar, or like the just, it wasn't really a bar, but it was just really like cool in general. I get the Breaker back, then I Ghost and Doze on the Standard Throat. Fantastic. This fourth, like these four lines were really, really good. I love them so much. Storm Drain, why they still in my flow? Yeah, anyways, big fan of Shofu's verse. Now, I think I'll put Kez in iconic, because I don't know. We'll see where I end up putting him. I think maybe at the bottom of iconic. I think his verse was great. I think his verse. I think him having kind of like a co-verse with Shofu, kind of like it was good. Like it was definitely like he definitely had some bars and stuff like that. All my slimes in a circle, it looked like Solosis. But I don't think he like really said anything like super crazy. I liked Get Cut Iron Axe You. That had some that has like multiple layers to that. Loved that one. And then in his second verse here, we don't like Sun He Move Fafsa. That's a banger. They were just some solid ones, bro. There were some solid bars. Him going in that like kind of collab verse with Shofu definitely just made it hit harder. So yeah, big fan of Kezura's verse, although it wasn't like necessarily like the best, right? And then Lime King, Lime King has to go in the best tier, and it was the best verse in my opinion. I mean, it's just don't get me wrong, these bars are some of the foulest bars I've ever heard, bro. Bro, this is insane, but they're so niche and so good. I knew when he submitted his like contest submission that he was gonna be cooking, because that freaking, I'm still not over that freaking Vivian bar that he did. Dick, dick, dick on my dick, dick, dick. That was insane. But there were just too many. There were just too many bars. It was bar after bar, and they weren't just like normal bars. They were like really, really good bars. Like Treasures of Ruin, we pulling sticks everywhere. That's so niche. That's so freaking niche. And then yeah, there are some more. there are some more crazy ones. There was just iconic moments too, like Diglett Dig, Diglett Dig, and then Pesto Presto. Just really, really good bars. And then of course the final one, which is definitely the highlight, Head Game, no, not Head Game Mega, but Pull Out Game Legendary, like I came out the box. Alright, bro. No, unfortunately, the best verse of the Cypher. Unfortunately. And then that leads us into the water section. I'm gonna go ahead and put Tanukes in a great verse, because I think his verse was good. I thought that it was really nice because it fit the theme, and then all of his bars were very like water themed, right? So he had he was mentioning a lot of water Pokemon, Greninja, Inteleon, and then like Cascarafa. Like it just had a nice vibe. The beat behind it was really good. I was a big fan of this. But like at the same time, he really wasn't saying anything that crazy. So for that, I can't put him in like iconic, but he it was still a good verse. And then like his little thing he did with Omar was good too. The more grim, the merrier, All right, and that moves us on to Scoot, which Scoot's verse was also iconic. Very, very iconic verse. We can go through this stuff right now, but this part was pretty chill. Nothing too crazy in this part, but Scoot just brings the vibe, and then you definitely saw it when he, in his next verse. I like this first few lines: Steamin', Volcanion, Skull Drip, Impeccable, Pelipper. Great bar. And then no one's really talking about the pussy Swedish, she can't ignore dick wet finish, like Swedish, Nordic, Finnish, Scandinavian countries. I actually really liked that bar, and I had never really thought of it, so I think that's really good. Overall, a pretty good bar, pretty good verse from Scoot, some solid bars. and you know, he wasn't like saying anything super duper crazy, but he did have some bars, and he, you know, brought the scoop vibes, and that's what makes it an iconic verse. And then that brings us to Omar, who Omar I would put in iconic, or not iconic. I would say it's a great verse. I think that you know, he had bars for sure, and some bars that weren't necessarily like he made like this. I think this is an O power bar from Gen 6. That's pretty chill. Um, and then the Poke Contest bar was pretty good, right? And then Zerude, like he had some solid bars for sure. I think his last Cypher verse was better than this one, first of all. And I think that there was nothing really to make this, like, there was not like a bar that was super iconic that would make this like an iconic verse. But it's really good, and I don't want to take away from him because this is definitely a great verse. All right, and with that, we're moving on to the dark types. All right, so we start off with Anonymous. I'm gonna put Anonymous's verse in it, and you know, like I thought it was a cool verse. It was nice, but it wasn't anything like you know, great or anything like that. I think that like I don't know, like it feels like Anonymous doesn't like, and I feel like I'm assuming things like maybe I don't know if he plays enough like to like you know, like really come up with some like really like hard hitting bars. Like I feel like there were some good ones. Like the Redis fucking spread them ashes in town, that was solid. And then this Mr. Mime bar was pretty good. And then yeah. And then Cannon's like Genesect when we take it dryly. That's a cool, you know, rhyme scheme. But then like then other points were like just like kind of like, you know, we've heard that before, like a Houndour bar, like we've heard that. Dialga time, we've heard that. And then he literally made a Deoxys space bar last Cypher, right? So I just wasn't too like I wasn't really too blown away from, you know, by this verse. So I'll just leave it at that. But yeah. And then Tywild, I'm actually going to put Tywild in the best because I think that he had some really good bars. I think he had the best like kind of like cadence and flow of the dark types. And he just, you know, he really handled that slow beat really well. And I would also say he had some of the best bars, like, you know, Heat, Steam, and then Glalie with, you know, like Mega Glalie having a draw, you know, jaw drop. We had the Terrestrial Electric, Spark It and Problems Get Solved, because like it's literally like an idea when you're Terrestrial Electric. Yeah, I don't feel like I need to talk through all the bars, but this was also great. Glowed Up Like Agronite. Yeah. Ironworks, like just really like just really good wordplay. I'm a fan of this for sure. So yeah, I think this is one of the best verses of the Cypher. All right, and then that takes us to Blacklink, who I would say definitely, like, I would either put this at like the bottom of, I think I'll put it at the bottom of iconic. I think that his last Cypher verse was one of the best of the Cypher. Fantastic, actually. It had like just an insane amount of bars, and it was so good. I think this one was definitely not as good. I would say, you know, there were definitely some bars for sure, like H&M Win the Bag Out. I really liked that bar, actually. And then the Freddy Darkrai K next to the Ruger. Like, just, they were, you know, Freddy Krueger, yeah, like, you know, there were some good bars, for sure. But at the same time, you know, it wasn't like anything like crazy. The verse was relatively short compared to last time, I feel like, or maybe it was the same length. I'm not sure, to be honest. But yeah. It wasn't like insane compared to last time. But I do respect this verse because he's talking about himself. Like, he's telling a story, like, you know, about like a rough upbringing and things like that. So I do like respect the story, and he definitely had bars. So iconic tiers, I think, fitting for him. And then moving on to the dragon types. We start off with Token Black. Token Black's gonna go on iconic, and we'll probably move him here. I thought Token Black's verse was really good. I thought he had some bars. He has his classic like Pokédex bars as well. Keep a 9 for everyone. We love it. And then there were just some really like good moments. Rolling Purple, call it Great Tusk. I really like that bar. And then the best one I think was, which was I think what makes this verse iconic, was where he was saying, Ash won a tournament, I can do anything. Where is that? Okay, here it is. This this is not only is it super funny, but like so true, because Ash is like literally an idiot. So for him to have won and beat people like Cynthia, and did he also beat Steven as well, and then beating Leon's Charizard, like this, I don't know how, bro. He did not care. There were so many points where he like would like Thunderbolt a ground type, or I don't really need to get into explaining this, but you guys get the point. Like Ash is an idiot. How did he win, bro? How is he the champion? Um, anyways, very funny, very funny bar. And so yeah, Token Black definitely had an iconic verse. Moving on to Peso Pete, I'm gonna go ahead and put Peso in great verse. Because I thought his verse was great. I didn't think that there were like any like super like iconic bars, but UB2 Our Pockets Muscle is the one that I remember the most, I think. But there were some good bars for sure. And so I think that he definitely deserves to be, to have that, be in that great verse tier. And then Jeesh, we're gonna put him in iconic simply because of this extremely prophetic last line that he had. Berloom, we gon' 286 him, because right after that, the Luigi Mangione, who has a Breloom in his profile picture, shot the CEO. I don't know what he was. I don't know if he's like the next like Jesus or what. But he just that was just insane. I think he had some other like great bars in his verse too. Don't get me wrong. Like the Nuzlocke bar, Live a Lock, he was trying to die. I really like that bar. Pseudo Wudo Money, Too Many O's, pretty solid. And then GM Pow bar was pretty good. Black and White Plot 2, like just a true bar to be honest. Yeah. Overall, really good verse from Jeesh. Okay, and then that brings us to the Elite Four verses. I'm gonna go ahead and slide Matt Houston into, I thought it was a great verse. Definitely, like, it was definitely Elite Four worthy, but I didn't think it was like insane. I mean, like, there were definitely some good bars and stuff like that. Like, we can talk about the little like Weevil thing, Weavile thing he had going on. And then I think the best one was the rappers Koraidon Stop Biting Off of My Shit. Like, that's a really like niche bar. I did really respect that one a lot. But yeah, I mean, he definitely had some bars, but it really wasn't like, I wouldn't really call it iconic. It was solid. It was a good verse for sure. And then moving on, we've got CTC, who I'm going to put like in iconic. One thing I will say is that I thought his last Cypher verse was way better than this. I thought that the beat was better. I thought that his flow was better. I thought that it had better bars that were, more like expansive and things like that. I think this verse was definitely good. And I thought that it was definitely worth the delay. I mean, this guy delayed the Cypher for like an entire year. And so like it's a great verse, don't get me wrong. But like, in my opinion, like pretty much all the bars were like pretty much like competitive stuff, and he was really just like talking about like being a good competitive player essentially. Like, none of these are like anything like mind-blowing in terms of like wordplay or things like that. This is just, hey, I'm a good competitive player. I did good competitive strategies, and I put it in a rap song. No, but it was still iconic verse. It was still very much an iconic verse. He did have some bars in there, so I'm not gonna act like there were none. And then like he shouted out some of his competitive bros. He shouted out Blunder and Pokegame. So I can't like hate the verse. I think the verse was fantastic. But it just wasn't like insane like last verse. I think last Cypher, I think CGC probably had the best verse, but this was not as good. But moving on to Shofu, which we kind of already talked about. His verse isn't the best. He just had some really iconic lines. And one thing about Shofu's rap, and I'll just say this, is that like just the way he his little like inflections and his cadence are what make him like what separate him as a rapper. I don't know why. Like he has bars too, don't get me wrong, but like just the way, just his like he's so comfortable like on the beat. Like I feel like he can rap on anything. And he killed it. He definitely killed it. This little like section was really hard. He came with the sword. I'm holding his. He came with the sword. He holding his shield. I'm packing a gat. That was just really good. There are plenty of others. Glaciato with the ice. I might be sliding in this bitch. Just good stuff. I kill him. Esper, no enthusiasm. And then the iconic one, Magic Bounce. I don't want your swagger, you can have it back. Insane bars. Really big fan. And just funny. Like his verses are always relatively funny as well. So I just gotta respect Shofu for sure. And then I will put 6 seconds. I will put 6 seconds in the best tier because it was a fantastic verse and it had that Area Zero beat behind it, and it had a banger Area Zero bar as well. Crater in your mid region, Area Zero. And then this little walking wake flip was really cool. You just like when you get to these people who are like rappers, and you're like, they just have such creative verses. In terms of like cadence and flow, and so that's one of those things that I really appreciated from 6 seconds. And he had some bars too. Like we can stop on like literally all of these things and talk about the bars there. I liked extra rounds to the body, like the dunce bars. That was also a really cool bar. Get dots in your face like Reggie, whatever. That was funny. Overall, great stuff. The only thing I didn't really like that much was like the little like thing at the end. I thought this was a weird way, because just the way he was like rapping in like a little bit of a higher like inflection. It was just a little weird. And it was a weird way to end the Cypher, because I was like, but overall, this verse was definitely one of the best of the Cyphers. So, but yeah, that pretty much wraps up the ranking. Is there anything I want to move around right now? I feel like for the most part, it's pretty good. Yeah, this is what I would rate it. Let me know what you guys would rate, what you guys would change, things like that. Whether you guys thought this was a good tier list, or maybe it wasn't. If it wasn't, leave a hate comment, and I'll probably delete that shit, to be honest. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe and all that jazz. And yeah, I'll see you for the next video.